Like that guy,
Which guy?
the guy from Chappelle Show. He's spraying his hair
Player
all the
haters
time. He's
ball.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
the guy fixing his hair all the time.
I don't think player haters ball is like top 5 for me as far as Chappelle Show skits go, but it's certainly one-liners like
Yeah.
Buck Nasty Mama Dish. Like that's that's good stuff. It is, folks. Welcome in SoCal Saturdays. Hanging out with you on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Louie Rabaut, Barry Spears, as we always are at this time on a Fridays. Back to Santa Anita this weekend. 708 graded stakes await us this weekend across North America, Barry. Lots of win and ins for the Breeders' Cup, which you and I, of course, will be out at Del Mar. We'll be doing shows that you can find right here wherever you're watching, but also on Blood Horses Network as part of our partnership with them. Barry will also be up here on the Tuesday before Breeders' Cup. We'll do a Breeders' Cup seminar here in Louisville, Kentucky at Martini Italian Bistro, martinilouisville.com. If you want to go check out the restaurant, we'd be happy to have you as part of that coverage. But of course, out there in Del Mar later on this year, presented by Single Barrel Cigars as well. But of course, these are episodes all presented by Amwager, amwager.com. Get in right now. 100% deposit match up to $150 on that platform. Designed by horse players. For horse players, it's Amwager and amwager.com. Barry, good morning, afternoon for you. Morning for our friends, California. How are you?
Yeah, doing good. It's Friday. First Friday of October.
Thank you for telling me it's Friday, because yes, I do know, Barry. It's an important thing you said there.
It is. It's always good to know, as my dad used to tell me, the time and score. He used to just say that to me. He's like,
that's fair.
Time and score. So that's what I was just reiterating, the time and score. So it's Friday and it's in the afternoon, and you don't want to go in my mind. It's there's a lot going on. It's like a weird highway in there.
Go find them, Spears. Again, amwager.com. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us here. Let's go out to Santa Anita for race 1. A real mix here, Barry. We get a fair number of state-bred races, which we are, of course, very accustomed to on the California scene, but a ton of graded stakes as well. We start with one of those Cal-bred races here in race 1, an optional claimer for $61,000. We're running. The price is $20,000 for optional claiming. We're going 6 furlongs on the turf course here. We're sprinting. This is essentially for non-2 lifers. Very odd race means you get to go first.
Yeah, it's a tough race. I like these races because it seems like every horse other than the elite of elite runs in these kind of races at some point during their career out in California.
It really does.
This race in particular is a little tough because a lot of horses are doing different things, coming from open claimers into the state bred ranks, and they always make for interesting events because of that fact. I ended up on the 7 Grazed. This horse, it was off for almost a year or over a year. Came back pretty good. That first race in this level wasn't so good, but they clearly needed that one. The next race, open, 25,000, ran a bang up race. Should get a good trip here, stalking from off the pace a little bit. There's enough speed inside of this horse to where I think they can get an excellent trip. 9-2 seems to be a stretch. I think this horse is going to be probably favored or second choice when it's all said and done, but I think Grazed is the goods.
Grazed is the goods. 4 for 10 lifetime at Santa Anita is in for the money, in for the tag, because horse does not qualify to stay outside of the tag. I went on top, not too many spots away, and frankly, with your second pick here, and the Ohm of the Braves, son of Ohm, of course, here in this one. Don't hate that name. But look, this is one that was right there last time at 5 furlongs at Del Mar. The thing I actually worry about here, Barry, is going 6. The only reason I'm not worried is last time this horse was at Santa Anita and ran a mile on the turf. It was right there and just ran out of gas at the very end of the race under Tiago Pereira, who gets back aboard here. This horse has never been worse outside of a run at a mile and an eighth than a length off of the winner, or was the winner of a race. So this horse is just always there, Barry, and once in a while in turf races, I just want the horse that I know is going to be part of the equation at the end. I'll take the 6-1 price here with the Steve Knapp trainee and go ahead and run with that. He and Tiago Pereira, a huge sample size at Santa Anita, 110 races. They won 19% of them. And so to me, a formidable duo here in the opener on Saturday at Santa Anita. So I went 4, 9, and 12. Barry, you landed 7, 4, and 2. The 2 horse in here is Midnight Musket. I looked at this one for a while too. What do you like about Midnight Muscle?
Yeah, this horse kind of drops into this level after some races at Tampa Bay
Yeah,
um, early in the winter and spring. And those races I'm quite familiar with, and they might be a tad bit better than what um, he's facing in this first race here. That first race that they ran out west wasn't so good, but didn't get a good trip, got checked, uh, just didn't get an ideal trip. So if you can forgive that one, I think this one might be right around it, especially with the speed. Speed kind of is a good weapon to have when you come out west, and just
no
having
doubt
those
about it.
races might be slightly better. I think that puts that one in the mix somewhere.
I went 4, 9, and 12 here. I landed a bit different than you did. Cullen J in the second spot for me. I get Hector Barrios aboard for the first time. We're actually getting away from Antonio Fraser, who won the riding title
What?
last time we've been at Santa Anita. But man, I really love Hector Barrios on the grass. We're throwing the blinkers on this one as well. And while not the angle that will change everything for a Richard Baltas trainee, I do like it sort of in general. Second off the layoff here tends to be a good angle for Baltas as well. But this is largely the move to Hector Barrios for me, Barry, that is so positive about the 9 horse in here. The 12 toward the outside. I know it's having to do all the work from out there, but I get Juan Hernandez, a Florida horse who did a bunch of closing last time out. And I'm wondering if staying on the turf here, this one won't stay closer to the group this time. Off slow is in the line. 3 back, it says step slow. And so horse is going to have to get out of the gate a little bit better. I think, like you said, plenty of speed in here. If he doesn't, he's going to be up against it as well. He's a son of Mrazek. Do you know who Mrazek is?
I do not.
Okay, Mrazek was a goalie in the National Hockey League. That is something that happens in California. Usually they end up with Doug O'Neill for some reason, like Nyquist.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But checks on the way for Juan Hernandez here, Simon Callahan. Juan Hernandez off to a stupid 6 for 17 start at Santa Anita this go round here in the fall. I just think being in this company, Barry, makes a lot of sense there. So we'll move on to race 2 now. We are presented by Amwager. This is the Horse Racing Happy Hours SoCal Saturdays. We do this every Friday. You can come hang out with us here in this spot. Race 2 starts the graded stakes. The Chillingworth, is a grade $300,000 on the line. Fillies and mares going 6.5 on the dirt here. And we see a fair number of Baffords. We see a fair number of other horses as well, but only 5 in here, Barry. You and I actually landed differently in this race, but we see the return, and I think the intentional soft return of Tamara in this race. And she was, man, Barry, I'm legitimately struggling on the filly side. Was there a more of a buzz 2-year-old filly last year than her? I mean, she
No,
was
I
way
mean,
up there. Yeah.
yeah, she was really well meant going into the Breeders'
Yes.
Cup last year, and she just didn't run a step, which was kind of odd. She was fairly consistent in getting better, and then she just threw in a dud.
He was the favorite.
It
Yeah.
could be the distance. I don't know, and that's really I'm sure they're curious to find out again, but
Mm.
clearly they're gonna try the Chillingworth at 6.5 to get them started.
Yeah. I'll land on her on top just as Barry, just simply put, the best in this field, just the classiest of the field. And frankly, the works recently have been good enough to win in this spot. The 6 furlong from the gate work the other day in 111 flat, I thought was just easily the best of this group, and frankly, better than any of the races the other horses in this field have ever run. So I landed on her not because I think there's some kind of tactical advantage or something like that. I think she's just the best horse here, Barry. And sometimes you just land on the best horse, time off or not. But I'll lean on the most recent works. All of them have been very good. Yes, they started at Del Mar, but they've shifted to Santa Anita. She has kept that form there. I went with Silent Law third. I actually landed on the 1 horse in Baela. I don't know if she ends up running. I want to be really clear. I don't know if this is a Baffert, hey, I'm going to throw one in to make sure that this race goes kind of horse.
I think
And
so.
I think she is. I'm fascinated by her if she stays in the field. I think she's got a serious shot here. I think the City of Light connections, the war front on the dam side, I think getting to the dirt would be totally fine. It's a good angle for Bob Baffert as well. If Baela actually stays in this field, which I do not expect her to do, I'll put her up there. So I went 3-1-2. I'll let you talk about Silent Night, though, who you have on top.
Yeah, Silent Law, I think
Or
is
Silent
just
Law, excuse
getting back to what she was meant to do all along, which is sprint. She was kind of ascending when she came out of the gate there. Her first two starts were really, really good. Ran in the Practical Dream,
me.
and then threw in a dud, and they laid her off. Came back going long. Ran a really good race to Tenma, and that's really why I picked this horse on top. I thought that was an excellent race. They tried the turf for whatever reason. That really isn't her bag. Um, this is definitely what she wants to do. Getting Juan Hernandez back is another key to this. I think he's just going to unleash this horse, and there's some question marks with Tamara. Um, I don't believe those races were that strong
Mm,
um, as it goes down the line. So back when she ran those races in 2023, that was probably those were really good races, but just evaluating how young she was and those
yes.
horses at the
Those are
time,
early career races. Yes.
right? I can't really marry the concept that she could be, you know, too much better than that.
Hmm.
She was running really, really well. I don't think she's going to come back that fast. And I think that puts her on even ground with Silent Law. And obviously, I'm going to take the higher of the two prices.
By the way, shout out Caitlin Oishi hanging out with us today out there in
Hey,
LA. Long time, man. I've known Caitlin for over a half decade. How about that? But yeah, Doug the Hockey Player
yeah, but
Horses is a real thing.
Messier,
That's a real thing.
Messier was with Baffert
That's
though.
yeah. And then there was Nyquist, Mrazek, um, yeah, Messier. That's a
What
fair
I can
number of
think
them.
of.
I'm missing some.
There's so
I feel
many.
like help us out, Caitlin. I feel like there's more of those for sure. With the horses out west. Of course, this is SoCal Saturdays hanging out with Barry Spears. My name's Louie Rabaut. They are presented by Amwager and Amwager.com. The Grade One American Pharaoh is up next, and of course, we may see the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile come out of this one. It is for 2-year-olds. It's presented by DK Horse. Is this race? And we are going a mile and a 16th on the dirt there. We see Desert Gate. We see Christofferson in here, Barry. Did you land on a Baffert for this one?
I did not. I did not. I like Doug O'Neill's horse, the 4, Civil Liberty.
Okay. Go with the maiden,
Uh,
huh?
yeah, I think
Attaboy.
this horse just got into a little bit of trouble. Both those races, especially in the last one in Del Mar Futurity. I mean, really had everything lined up and just couldn't get through. Just had no place to run
Right.
and was inside then outside. I honestly don't think it was the best of rides. I think my personal opinion is that Fresu could have just picked a lane and kept straight. If that would have happened, they probably would have got through and made it closer. I'm not sure they would have gotten a Brant, but they probably would have got the Desert Gate, which is key because that horse shows up here on the rail. Favorites on the rail, I just do not like. So I think the trip will set up. I mean, there's enough speed. I think Desert Gate now drawing the rail has to go along with
Yes.
Intrepido,
Oh, yeah.
and then they're going to line up. And I think Civil Liberty is going to get first run, and that's going to make all the difference here.
I also wanted to ask you as I looked through this, and you had done your handicapping a couple minutes before I did, and so your picks were up on our shared sheet before mine, and you had Desert Gate on top, or not Desert Gate on top here. I'm sorry, Civil Liberty on top here. And I wanted to ask you about picking a maiden in this spot, Barry, because is there a part of you that looks at 2-year-old races this time of year? Maybe that horse hasn't figured out that it's a class below this by not having won yet. That kind of like, right? Like the class part of this matters less than the overall talent of a 2-year-old horse at this point.
Um, well, I guess from a speed standpoint, you have to have sort of a baseline,
Okay.
of a certain number. I would say in this case, looking at this field, that number is probably around 76, 77. To think that you could jump up to a buyer speed figure of an
Hmm.
84-ish,
Right.
that's not impossible given
Totally agree.
given a scenario.
Yep.
So, those two races by that horse, even though he hasn't won, he was right there. And Brant is definitely cut above these
Yes, yes.
horses,
Yes, yes.
but he's not in here.
Right.
And you get the two that finished second and third behind him, and they're probably closer matched than the odds would say, or at least the morning line does.
Yeah, I landed in a different spot. And so Barry again landed 4, 3, and 1 in here. I went 6-1-4, and I think Barry's going to make a face, which is totally okay with me. But I landed on the second time starter in Christofferson here. And what I look for with Baffert runners on debut, especially Barry, is how they break. Because we know how they're going to run after that. They're all going to try to get the lead and keep the lead and do with the things on debut, especially. But how they break really is what matters to me. And Christofferson's one that while he broke in from the 5 and bumped a horse to his left, where it worked out just fine. And frankly, smaller field here when it goes from 9 to 5, ran amongst a field of 9 at Del Mar on debut. To me, this is moving more toward what this horse wants to do. Stretch out, over $1 million purchase for the Starlight Racing folks, and son of Nyquist. I think this is when we start to see the Nyquist get better and better as their development moves. And this is one, if you watch the Baffert workout morning patterns, is following all of the ones that he thinks are the ones that can push through and become the next very good 2-year-old, 3-year-old, whatever. And it's that 4, 5, 6. I always watch for the 4, 5, 6 with him, Barry. You'll see a gate work in there, and then you'll see a couple of works after that that are essentially building up to stamina. So look back at August 18th, gate work. August 8th, gate work. August 25th, gate work. Then we move to Santa Anita because that's where the next race is. 4 furlongs, 5 furlongs, 6 furlongs. So he is setting this horse up to be ready for the 2 turns. Mike Smith gets the mount here instead of Juan Hernandez, but we all understand why. He's been aboard Desert Gate, has Juan Hernandez for multiple races. So I wonder if this isn't just a move to get the next best rider, because he could have gone with, I mean, he's put Kamara on horses before.
Yeah.
Right? But he's put Kamara on Plutarch instead. And it interesting to me. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to take the 6 on the outside because, Barry, what do you think? 9 to 5. It's not going to be 9 to 5. I think I'm going to get better than 2 to 1. I think I'll get like 5 to 2 on that horse. Maybe not a 6-horse field, maybe 2 to 1, but like I don't think it's going any lower than 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's about right, because at least the gaudy speed figure for that horse will carry a lot of weight with the public, and I think the 2 Bafferts, the 1 and the 6 should probably be top 2 choices. I just don't like the 6 because I'm not really sure how strong that race was.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
Not saying that this horse isn't fast or anything like that. I'm just not sure, and it's tough read on how Baffert's going to tell everybody to ride.
Well, the thing about Plutarch, your top pick here is that are you 4-3-1 here? Am I misrepresenting you? I'm misrepresenting you. That's terrible.
That's okay. I mean, I like Plutarch just as much.
You do. I was going to say,
especially at that price.
Yeah, I was going to say. You know what? That was just my brain going, Barry likes a 10 to 1 shot.
Yeah, exactly, see, that's good though. My reputation precedes me, apparently.
That's exactly right. But that, another maiden in this spot, but I thought last out, coming out of the clouds the way that horse did, if the start is even a little bit better, if the horse, and I assume that's why Baffert's throwing the blinkers on. Just concentrate a little bit for me, buddy.
Yeah.
Just get me out here. Just give me a shot, buddy.
Just get out of the gate. If this horse breaks with the field, and
yes, I agree with that
setup.
Yep.
It could be a setup. I mean,
I agree.
It really depends, honestly, on Intrepido, what they do. If they decide to really force the pace and push the issue, it could set up for Plutarch easily. If they decide to kind of, not press it and sort of hang back a little slightly, then I think your horse, the 6, might run away from everybody, because he does seem to be a bit faster than Desert Gate.
That was race 3, the grade 1 American Pharoah. We continue on. Race 4 is an optional claimer on the turf. They are going a mile at Santa Anita. It's an optional claimer as well, $61,000 on the line. 3 up, non-2 lifers essentially in this one here, Barry. Race 4, an even race. You know what? I will actually do my job and go first here. I landed on the 10 horse near the outside, if not on the outside of this one, in Russell's Hustle. Wanted to make sure I slowed down to say that one properly, but is coming out of a starter allowance winner against non-3 lifers after finishing second in a starter allowance with non-3 lifers. That was under Juan Hernandez, but the great news is we're on the turf, and I pick up Hector Barrios, and I get 6 to 1 on a Peter Miller trainee. The bad news is the 2 of them 0 for 7 together recently at Santa Anita, so we need to overcome that part. But man, I saw enough in those last 2 races, Barry. Certainly since the move to the Miller barn, much better racing out of this horse who had been in lower level claimers moving into these starter allowance type fields, but it's the timing of the races, the speed with which this horse finished the last two out that gives me the most hope. If you look back at other times in this horse's history, won at the maiden 50 level to break his maiden. That was third in the form cycle. This one's also third in the form cycle. So I'm interested to see, after a second by a nose and then a win by an over a length in the last race, can this horse actually even take another step forward? Can we see a 90 type buyer figure out of this horse in this race? I think we can. And the only thing I don't like, Barry, is the post position. I don't like this horse having to do all the work from the outside, but this is a stalking type. So maybe use that first couple of steps of this race toward the first turn, maybe to move inside, get into the four path, something like that, and then work out a trip from there. But that's what Hector Berrios is for. And I'm feeling good about that. So I'll take the 10 horse on the outside here, Barry, at 6-1. You landed on the 4 horse here, though, in Charge for Gold. Another nice price, 10-1. Kyle Frey.
Yeah, trying to throw one downfield here. Surprisingly, this race came up a little light in the speed department.
Yes, it did.
And honestly, I thought that Charge for Gold would only have one horse to beat out of the gate to get to the lead, and that's the 10. And the 10 has a little bit of speed, but I don't think they want to go for it, and B, I don't think they're fast enough. They've been kind of putting around in condition claimers. This is quite a bit of a step up for that horse, so I don't think they're going to try to force the issue from the outside. I would gather they want to get a nice spot settle and try to finish, which leaves Charge for Gold loose on the lead. And if that happens, this horse is very, very dangerous. That last race on the stretch out was pretty good. This horse has won at a mile previously, and if the thing sets up the way I think it is, they're going to be tough to beat on the lead. I think that 10-1 is going to come down, however, because of that fact. But still going to be 5-1 ish, and I'll take that.
There you go. I went 10-2 and 7. You and I have the same second and third horse. Cuban Confusion is the 2 horse here. Spectacular name for a horse. Phil D'Amato trains Rubera Rispoli, rides 2 of them great together at Santa Anita. This one at a higher level, at a starter, in an optional claiming level, last out at the 50 level. Before that, ran third, ran second last out, did win a maiden 3 back, though, as the favorite in the 14th attempt at breaking his maiden. Finally did get it done, this son of Havana Gray. I think this one is just going to be part of the equation, Barry. So in a mile turf race, just give me one that's going to be part of the blanket at the end. And then interestingly, you and I both have the 8-1 takes 3 Kazushi Kimura piloted, Mike Pipey trained, breaking from the 7, was in that mile race with Cuban Confusion, finished right behind there. Should be good. Drops out of some of those Calbred stakes company races against horses like Kings River Knight. That's just not going to happen, buddy. It's just not good for you. Get out of there, get back in this group. So I think the 2 and the 7 makes sense, especially if we get a repeat of that race at Del Mar.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the pace scenario that shapes up, I think that could be the ceiling for takes 3. It'd be really tough unless they just decide to kind of pop the gate and try to go to the lead, but I don't think that's happening. I think they're just the best of the rest. For not the pace scenario, I would have put the 2 on top, but I just think the 4 has a slight advantage that, the price is going to be that much better, and they both have a similar chance to win. So I'm going with the bigger price, of course.
We close out the early pick 5, of course, with race 5. How about that, kids? Let's do math together.
No way.
We start the pick 6 here. It's the $2 pick 6 out there, races 5 through 10, but 6 furlongs in a state bred maiden special weight here, $60,000 on the line. This is for Calbreds, Barry. And some interesting ones in here, a mix of first timers and a mix of horses that have been very, very close in this. I landed on the 10 again on the outside, Barry, but you, my friend, landed on the 5 horse right in the middle of the field here, a first timer for Tim Yakteen, who's frankly made us look very smart on the show.
Yes, very much. A few really times.
More than once.
But I thought the horses that have run already weren't all that spectacular.
Kind of generic. I'm with you.
Yeah, and Tommy Norris has probably take some action, but that horse is kind of wishy-washy. Could improve and be right there, but I thought my Bodacious Boy might have a little bit of an advantage. I like those workouts, particularly on September 6th from the gate and August 31st from the gate. Those are pretty fast works. And then you'll see some 2 5 furlong workouts closest to the race. But this horse is out of a dam in Cary Rose,
Hmm.
who dropped 2 first out winners, including a full sibling to this horse by the name of Shea Brennan, who won first time out. Very quick horse. I should, from the works, this one seems to be quick as well. Why not? In a race where there's nobody spectacular in here, and sometimes the fastest horse does win. And I'm gonna take my Bodacious Boy on top.
My Bodacious Boy, also the most expensive horse in this field, bred for $2,500. They paid
Hmm.
40 grand for this horse at the sale in 2024, and so that is not a small amount of money for a yearling in the Calbred ranks for sure. So they obviously have thoughts about what his career is going to look like. I'm interested here because I did go to the 10 Barry, and I should flip the graphic here so that people see what I was thinking. I went
Bam!
10-1-9 in this spot. Look at this technology. What a high level technology here on SoCal Saturdays. But Brian Corder's throwing the blinkers on the 10 Oracle of Paradise, who's dropping out of the Del Mar Juvenile Turf. At a mile in that race, we're getting back to a sprint here. And I think once in a while, you just want to let a horse just go. And I think this one, breaking from the outside, getting back to dirt. I like the recent works. I like the move from turf to dirt for this horse. I think we're going to get way more than 6-1. I want to be really clear. I think we're going to get 10, 12-1 on this kind of horse, and that's why I like it. But I do like the move of throwing the blinkers onto this one. And frankly, Brian Corner is just a better dirt trainer than he is a turf trainer. So I expect this horse to be considerably better here. I think the Golden Sense part of the breeding makes sense as well. So I get a horse that I thought kind of put it together and passed. I think he passed 5 horses in the stretch of that juvenile turf, if I'm doing the math right in my head. That's a horse that can win back in this kind of company as long as he gets out of the gate. That is the biggest question about him. Bump starts and slow starts in his first 2. But give me Oracle of Paradise, of all things, on the outside to win the maiden race in race 5. For one of the reasons that you said, Barry, some of these horses that have run before, I'm just not overwhelmed by. And so why can't I take the horse that at least passed some horses in a stakes race last time to go there? Like I said, I then landed on the 1 on the inside in Cruz Home, speaking of first timers, which Dean Peterson wins at 21% with. Orantes gets the ride here. I love him in sprints, Barry. I think he's very, very good in sprints. And this is one that has good enough works from the gate. So obviously in here, Barry, I'm shooting for the moon, man. I'm trying to score in this race, man. And so give me 9-1, or excuse me, 10-1-9 in this one. I'll let you wrap it up. You like that one as well. I'll let you wrap it up though with the 8 horse with Tiger Whitworth. I don't know
Yeah,
about that. What are we gonna do with that name? You like that name?
bad. Yeah, I do like
Okay.
that one.
Okay. All right.
Tiger Whitworth. Yeah, that August 17th work kind of jumps off the page at me. Steve Knapp does pretty well with first-time starters,
Yep.
although the rest of the works are kind of hidden. This horse has been working kind of slow, and I think it was by design. I think
Hmm.
this horse has a bit of zip. You're getting Edwin Maldonado, who will force the pace. I mean, he's
Yes.
gonna put this horse on the lead. That's why I think that this horse has a little bit more speed than what the works suggest, and could hang around. You never know. I just think this is a wide open race in general.
Race 6 up next, of course, starts the late pick 5, and the turf pick 3 will start here. As well, we're going maiden special again. This is open company, though, for 2-year-olds on the turf course. They're going a mile, $60,000 on the line here. Barry, even number race means that Louie goes first. I even have my graphic ready. How about that? What a day. You and I very similar in this one, by the way. I went 5, 6, and 4. I think you're something like 6, 4, and 5. The
Yes.
5 is did I go 5 first? I did. All right. Honey's Choice. Humberto Rispoli gets the mount for Phil D'Amato. You and I have made the joke recently that the Phil D'Amatos don't win on debut, and all of a sudden they've started winning on debut, but they certainly don't lose a lot on second asking. And so this one, I thought, passed a bunch of horses, hung around kind of in the middle of the race, kind of looked around, figured it out toward the end. Mild rally at the end of that one is in the notes, but look at that work. 2 back on September 20th. Give me that horse. In this one, 46-1 on the Tapeta inside there at Santa Anita. I think this one's just set up well for it. First run at Del Mar, comes back, breaks maiden here would be, I think, an ideal setup for this one. And so Medici also in here, the 4-horse. DeMuro gets the mount here. This one was really close last time, frankly. Probably going to try a similar route here, Barry, to get the lead and try to press through that way. And then Conducted is the 6-horse, drops out of that juvenile turf as well. Mike Smith was aboard. Then we get Hector Berrios here, which I think is, at this point in history, it's a good move. And so I'll go 5, 6, and 4 here for my picks. And Barry landed in a stunning upset, 6, 5, and 4. Go ahead, because you have the 6 on top. I stopped myself. Hector Berrios gets them out. What do you like about the 6-horse?
Yeah, I think this is one of those rare occasions where you get a horse that's dropping in class into a maiden special weight.
Right. Yeah.
I think they just, I'm not really sure why they went in that race, to be honest with you, in that mile race. Maybe it was just to get a race into this horse, and this seems to be the goal here, because they unveiled this horse on July 26th in the Brant race.
Yes.
So you had Brant, Civil Liberty, Balboa, and honestly, this horse didn't run all that poorly.
No, that's right.
And was wide, didn't get an excellent trip or anything, and comes back in that turf race, and you can put a line through that. I think this horse fits here. Should have gotten a lot out of those 2 experiences, and should be a racer at this point. And I think this horse is going to get a good trip behind Medici, and should finish this off. I really don't see much in here, but it's a maiden race with horses that you haven't seen enough. I mean, Falcon Jet, I'm almost just totally against. Had chances to win and just couldn't get it done. The 3-horse was another that piqued my interest, but
yes,
seems to be, I think that horse might want to turf. So that kind of left the 4, 5, and 6. I'm going with the 6. He's been facing tougher. Yep. And should seal the deal here, but I don't know what the price would be. I think 3 to 1 is probably where they'll settle.
Again, Barry in race 6, 6, 5, and 4. I went 5, 6, and 4. So go ahead and box those up. All the other horses. That's what I'm saying. Box up every other horse and throw them into your handicapping. I'm just kidding. Of course, we move on to race 7. Is the start of the late pick 4 out there, and if you are wagering, of course, encourage you to check out our friends at Amwager, amwager.com. Go get their sign up match right now. Up to $150. They will match 100% of it. So if you put in $1, they put in $1. That's how it works. Nice and easy. Easiest promotion ever. Don't need a promo code. Amwager.com. Just go get signed up with them right now. Live in California. You can bet all the California tracks out there as well. Odd number race in a number 7 here. An optional claimer. $50,000 claiming price. $61,000 purse. This is a Calbred race. We're going 6.5 on the dirt here, Barry. What say you about this one?
These are one of those weird races that, you get a couple of Doug O'Neill horses, you get, and he doesn't do quite the same things that Bob Baffert does when he has multiple horses in there. He kind of lets them do their thing. Yep. And wherever and whoever does what ends up doing whatever it is that they're going to do. He doesn't try to kind of manipulate the pace
running
scenario
style
or running style, yes. Right. Yep. He kind of just lets them go and tells them to run their race, and whoever wins. That being said, I kind of don't like any of his horses in this race, at least not on the win end. I ended up on number 5, Fianello. I think that last race was really good on the step up in that I'm Smoking Stakes. Yep. The drop down into this company makes a lot of sense. It's virtually the same thing. Just the better horses were in that I'm Smoking. Had a chance to kind of win that race and just didn't. Dropping here makes a lot of sense. Should get a setup. Jalisco has some speed. The 1, Can't Help Myself, has some speed. The 7's definitely going. So it should be a fair pace for a horse like Fianello to finish off and win.
Fianello will break from the 5, will also be my favorite in the race. I added a 4th horse, which we usually don't do on this show because I think of this race as being that open. But you do get the horse dropping out of that black type in the I'm Smoking at Del Mar. Last out in Fianello. I'll put the 5 on top. I think the 6 right next to it. Cohen gets the mount here. He did win a race last weekend. also out of that same race, ran third in the I'm Smoking. Second off the layoff here, and you mentioned the Doug O'Neill runners here. I'll push back a little bit. I think this one, I don't think it's an accident, Barry, that they shipped this one to to Churchill to try the Bashford Manor, right? He obviously thinks there's a significant amount of talent to spend a $2,000 Calbred to ship that horse to Churchill Downs to run in the Bashford Manor, won by Romeo. Comport was in that race. Comport came back, won impressively at Ellis Park on Ellis Park Derby Day, etc. And so I'm fascinated by this runner and what he thinks about it. Here's what I'll say. I think just staying in Southern California for this horse will be good, right? For right now, just let this horse live somewhere, be somewhere. I don't love the most recent work from the gate. It was a little slow for my liking, but the 1-3 back was very good. And so I'm hoping that will clean itself up. The one horse on the inside, can't help myself. Hector Berrios gets the mount here. One on third asking last time in a maiden special. Barry, you know me. I just like a horse coming out of a maiden special win. And then the 3 horse in here is Ocean Bear. Umberto Rispoli gets them out. Another one coming out of a maiden special win. And so hopefully one of those horses, 5, 6, 1, and 3 will pick up for me here. You went 5, 0, and 2 though, Barry. What do you like about the 4 horse here in Jalisco? All right, looks like Barry. Oh, there you go.
I got you. Yep, we came back. Yeah, I went to the 4 for second here. I just thought this horse is improving, just like Fianello. Actually, their running lines look very, very similar. And I just thought Fianello has a little bit more upside, although I think Jalisco is going to take some more money, especially coming out of that Del Mar Juvenile Turf, and that last race was pretty decent. 10-1 seems to be a stretch, but I almost put Saul Elliott in, but I took a harder look at it, and I think they just got a little overzealous in going over to Kentucky. I think the ownership might have gotten a little excited after that first win. But I think this horse could be a good Calbred when it's all said and done.
Absolutely.
And I think they got the right spot. I just don't think this horse is ready yet. And I think a stretch out might be in order too, even going longer, maybe a mile.
I'll tell you one that I'm interested in here, Barry, that's a very, very long shot in race 7. We'll break from the 8. Daniel Herrera gets a ride from Val Brinkerhoff here. In Fumano's Magic comes out of a maiden 50 win and just handled that field, right? And it was fast. That horse sat just off until it was bored and then decided to just take off running. That's one, Barry. If you force me to pick a double-digit kind of horse in this field, I would go there, and I think you're going to get every bit of the price on that horse, maybe 18, 17 to 1, something like that. But that's the kind of horse, if you're looking for a much, much longer shot in the late sequence, that might be able to pick up the pieces there. Throwing the blinkers on that one, you never know. And frankly, bullet work right before that last race and the work the other day, right at a minute flat, man, at 5 furlongs, I might be setting up again for that horse to have another nice race. Race 8 will start the late pick 3. Is a $3 pick 3 if you are new to the Southern California scene. 15% takeout, $3 minimum on the bet. One of our favorite bets in horse racing seems to be spreading around the country, which makes me happy, Barry. But of course, for a mile and a quarter on the turf for the Grade 2 Rodeo Drive. Sir fillies and mares 3 and up here, Barry. An interesting field. Long ago, I think, is the favorite at 3-1 for Billy Morey. This one was most recently seen at Saratoga. I guess Amber Cascade at 5-2 will end up being the favorite here. The second place finisher most recently in the Flower Bowl. The 6th place finisher in that race is Long Ago shipping in as well. Any thoughts on whether you're going to be leaning toward a shipper or a horse that's more of a local there, Barry?
I'm going to go with a local, namely the 8 Alpha Bella. I think this horse should have a really, really good advantage over this field. Because this horse can win on the lead if they need to. And I'm going to say Hector Berrios is not going to try to force it. And if they end up on front, that'll be perfect. If they end up second, like stalking a horse like Long Ago, I think they'll be okay with that too. And I think that puts this horse in the best spot possible, because there's not all that much speed in here, and I think they're going to hang around, those two in particular. But Amber Cascade, I'm not so sold on. I know that horse ran well in the Flower Bowl, but I think that was a little fluky,
Okay.
because of the way the way the race was run. You had a horse in Be Your Best that was setting the pace and kind of collapsed. Um, but Amber Cascade didn't run all that poorly. I just think they picked up the pieces rather
Mm,
than made that trip,
got
if
it.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
What about Speed Shopper though? Here you've got Speed Shopper in your second spot here, coming in from Saratoga at a lower level, but did win at Saratoga, going a mile and 3/8 for maiden win.
I think the distance here
Yeah.
is the thing. I think they figure out that this horse wants to go long like this. And if you look at those last two races, August 24th, July 18th, this horse was way out wide. The first one they finished off because it was a maiden race. They were
Yep.
just better than those horses. The
Yep.
second time they loomed and kind of flattened out late, which is something that horses do when they step up in class. Um, Post relief is a big thing here because the horse didn't really have a great shot from the way outside. Was three wide pretty much most of that trip. Should get an excellent trip here, and I think
Mm,
should be right there when it's all said and done. 15 to 1's a great price. Um, if I didn't believe that Alpha Bella was better at this point, just class wise, I would have selected the 3.
there you go. A horse you and I are both going to like is the 6 horse here, Hang the Moon, Phil D'Amato, Armando Ayuso, last seen in the Maybe, the grade 2, finishing 5th, but before that, a good 4th in the Yellow Ribbon handicap. Talk me into this one besides the 1-for-1 at the distance.
Much needed class relief.
Okay.
You know,
Interesting. Grade 2 class relief. There you are. Yes.
yeah, it's crazy, but
Funny. I get what you
this
mean. Yeah.
race didn't come up that strong,
Right.
for a grade 2, and the other races this horse was running in, you had Mission of Joy and Give Me Another is a nice horse.
Yeah.
Heredia is another one. Miss Astor, Moira. I mean, any other one of those horses would probably be odds on in this spot.
Cool. All right. There you go. There's Barry's thoughts. Whatever that's
Yeah,
worth.
Midas Spears. Oof,
Midas
want
Spears, get
that?
out of there. I'll put Amber Cascade on top, and it's not based on the Saratoga trip. It's actually based on the Ellis Park trip before that, right behind Simply in Front. And Simply in Front's a really good turf horse and a really good Kentucky turf horse. I get Juan Hernandez out west who knows the course and all of the things. And I mean this without any kind of slander. I mean this without any kind of anything. I'll take Juan Hernandez at Santa Anita before I'll take Nick Juarez, essentially at any track. And so give me that. I think it's a very, very good move for this horse to go there. You already talked about the 8 on the outside in Alpha Bella. I think she's going to be part of it. I have a different long shot toward the top of my handicapping here, and that is a Frezu and Phil D'Amato combination that finished behind Alpha Bella last out, and that is Starry Heavens. It's going to go 1.25 miles here, and this horse has won twice, finished third twice in 5 attempts at the distance prior. Does have a good third in the Santa Ana under Antonio Fresu earlier in the year. We're second off the layoff here, Barry, as well. Second in this form cycle. Took July off essentially for this one while we were at Los Alamitos. But this is one that was overseas before, did win a stake in France, struggled a little bit, got over here. And frankly, if this one had won the possibly perfect, wasn't going to because Mrs. Astor is a nice horse, right? But had won that race, there's no way this horse is 10 to 1.
No.
Right. And we're talking about a horse that lost by a neck that was right there. They essentially battled the entire way down. The stretch, Starry Heavens. I think she's right there. Mahina was part of that field. I mean, that's a nice set of horses. And if I'm holding her up against Mrs. Astor and Lady Claypool as the type of horses that we're talking about, this one's second in the form cycle here. I know she hasn't won yet this year, but I think she's got a legitimate shot. So go ahead and go ahead. Put me down for 7, 8, and 2.
So my question is, and this is why I didn't put this horse in my top 3, is what kind of running style do you think this horse is going to employ in this race? Are they going to try to go to lead? Or are they going to hang back? I mean, they've done both.
I think the good news for her here is they're going to try with the 8 horse in Alpha Bella to do what they did last time. Sure. And I think they're going to try to get the lead again. Did you see those fractions, Barry?
Yeah, no, it was super slow.
Slow as bleep. That's exactly right. So my sense is it don't matter. I think Starry Heavens is actually not going to have to fall from the sky in this one because it's not going to be fast in the front. I think she's going to be near the front. I think she's going to be
Okay.
way closer to the front. I think it's going to be a lot more like that Possibly Perfect, like the Santa Barbara, like the Santa Ana, etc. I think she's going to be within 2-3 lengths the entire time. I just have to do her best running at the end. And if I get Antonio Fresu in a double-digit odds horse with Phil D'Amato, I'll take it. That's it. So
That's fair. That's
yeah,
fair. Yeah, I
we'll
wasn't sure. That was a real question mark for me. Is like, are they gonna go? Are they gonna say? What are they gonna do?
yeah.
Especially with other um
I think
D'Amato
it's
horses in here. So it's like
yeah.
I don't know.
Neither of us mentioned long ago as part of our handicapping here, Barry. The 4 horse is going to be one of the favorites. If I were watching this show, I would want to hear about this one. But comes in out of that Flower Bowl. Before that, did perform okay at a mile and a half in the Glen Falls. Before that was in the Anchorage, really close at a mile and an eighth. Hey Barry, do you know where I'm doing this show from?
No.
Anchorage. How about that? So this
Hey.
horse ran in the stake, named after my neighborhood. But yes, the is it just that this horse has never won at the stakes level? Like why are you and I leaving long ago out here?
Because this horse typically loses ground going this far, finishing. They won that 80,000 optional claimer with Lasix. I can't. The horse ran well, but
Yeah.
I just can't endorse on the win end a horse like that that's losing ground against this kind of competition. Gets a little bit of relief coming from Saratoga and the Flower Bowl in Glen Falls, but I I I don't know. I mean, this is hard for me to get to, especially at a short price.
I hate for this one what I've seen the last 2 races, which is something that we saw in the Latonia, believe it or not, in March here on Ruby Day at Turfway Park. When this one gets challenged, it has a tendency to quit.
Yeah.
And that's what I
Well,
don't like about this horse. Like that horse lost by 40 lengths that day. I mean, the horse just, I mean, it wasn't even jogging, Barry. It was walking over the line.
yogging.
And so, like, like we were walking in to get more food or something at Turfway, and then the horse passed the line. Like they took the picture of the winner circle, and then the horse passed the line. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was unconscionable. So I think I'm just so I have that so burned in my memory that I'll just never bet on that horse. Just never going to happen. Late double starts in race 9, $5 minimum late double. Again, that 15% takeoff. This is the Oak Leaf Stakes presented by Oak Tree Racing Association. If you don't know the history out there, the reason there's autumn racing in Southern California is because of the Oak Tree, Racing Association. There are a couple of different Oak Tree weekends out there, and this is one of them, Barry. So this is the Oak Leaf presented by Oak Tree Racing. It's a grade 2, mile and a 16th. This is for 2-year-old fillies. Essentially, we're running these in the 3 major circuits this weekend. We'll have the present up in New York, obviously the Alcibiades here in Kentucky, and the Oak Leaf there in Southern California. Explora comes in here as the favorite, Barry. Is there any reason to get creative?
No, unfortunately, I'm going to be really candid right now. I really
I think
wish
you're being really creative here, actually. I
uh,
disagree with what you're saying, but keep going.
I think Lawali is sitting on a giant race, and it's just unfortunate that this horse is in this race against Hamika and Explorer, because any other time I would literally go all in on a horse like Lawali. If you watch that last race, you can see how this horse is set up to win this time. But you got a horse like Hamika and Explorer that are just flat out fast. And I don't think Lawali can really contend with that.
Okay.
Hamika is just that much better of a stalker and should get the run of the race behind Explorer, like literally just a choo-choo train. The 6 in front, 4 right behind, 4 tips out at the top of the stretch, and they run 1-2. I just can't see this playing out any different.
4, 6, and 3 for Barry. Talk me through in your mind what happened to
Uh-oh.
Hamika last out.
I think she just didn't get a good trip. She got bumped a little bit
She did get
early
bumped.
and didn't really. It kind of, I think it might have knocked the wind out of her just enough to where she kind of made a little move and flattened out.
Okay.
And I'm okay with that because she did come back, trained well since then, and should be cranked. I think you could just put a line through that. I don't. When you look at a lot of Baffert horses, they do throw in a race like that every once in a while. Um, and they usually bounce back really, really strong when they're good. So I think Hamika's the goods in this spot.
I did land on Explora here. I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel. I think wherever Juan Hernandez ends up on these kinds of days, I just go there. By the way, he and Baffert in their last 173 races at Santa Anita are now up to 40% winning.
Oof. Jeez.
It just is what it is. We are
I know.
taking the blinkers off of Explora, which I am interested
That's
in.
weird. Yeah.
It is an interesting change, is it not? And I wonder,
It's weird.
are they trying to get her to slow down early?
They might
Was she
be.
going like try to get her to stalk? I mean, is that
Yes.
what they're trying to set up here?
That's my assumption.
Okay.
Because of the fact I'm sure this is the well meant of the three, and they want to see what this horse is made of going into, Oak season next year. And if they solidify this and see this horse stretch out, I'd be hard pressed if we see this horse again. Maybe at the end of the year, but um, if this horse wins, Explorer wins here, I think that's gonna move that one up to the head of the filly class in that barn.
By the way, I agree with you about Lawali, but I left her out of my handicapping because I'm just kidding.
Pearl clutching.
She's in there. I'm just kidding. After her is La Ville Lumiere. And I want to talk about this filly. I really do. Daughter of City of Light. That's the name. Do you know the joke here? La Ville Lumiere.
No, I do not.
It literally means City of Light. So, anyways,
yeah.
So she's named
sense.
after City of Light. Yeah. And so this one they tried on the turf the last two times out. Kazushi got the mount, keeps the mount here from Mike McCarthy. And his turf to dirt number it's stupid. 24% is a stupid number. And it's a huge sample size. All the things. This one was working turf. They try her in that listed stakes. And I think she was fine. She was totally fine dreaming, but that was one of those. We've seen Alice Beach and those kinds of names. Dreaming of Alice was in that race. And she went ahead and won that by a length. Hypergamy was in there. That was a good field, right?
Yeah,
that was a field of
nice.
Yes, that was a nice field of horses that you and I have talked about, frankly, all summer in the 2-year-old ranks in California. She won before that sprinting on the turf. And I think both of us gave her out in May at Santa Anita. So she gets back to Santa Anita here. What I like about her in this spot, Barry, is once in a while we get to this time of year, we just assume, oh, it's a Baffert trainee that went 6 furlongs last time. They'll stretch out to 8.5, 9 here, no problem, right? I just don't think there's ever a guarantee of that. And La Ville Lumiere at least has shown us that she's done it before. She's at least gone the mile before. She went the 2 turns there at Del Mar and showed herself well against horses that are good turf horses. Gets back to the dirt here where she was fine on debut. She wasn't great, but she was fine. Lots of horses are fine on debut, by the way. I'm interested to see her get back to the dirt here. I think that just her running style, as far as wanting to be near the front of the pace, will set it up where she's at least got an excellent chance to hit the board. So give me the 2 in the 3rd spot there. That's far too much time spent on La Ville Lumiere. But we move on to the closing race. This is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour, presented by Amwager and Amwager.com. Get in with them right now. If you need a place to do your betting in California, the Speakeasy will close the card. A 2-year-old turf sprint race. It's a listed stakes, $100,000 on the line. And Barry, I thought one of the fun ways to close this card was a 13-horse 2-year-old field going 5 furlongs as fast as they possibly can to close the card. Where'd you land in the closer here? Because you and I, believe it or not, landed on the same horse.
Yeah, Brigante, the
11. 8-1. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get 8-1. This horse has been running against Brandt, Desert Gate twice, Pavlovian, and Hey Nene. Yep. Finished second to that one, 3rd behind Pavlovian, Desert Gate, and, just didn't show up against Brandt. And no embarrassment there. Right. Gets super class relief. I would be hard pressed to think that this horse will not go favored. Even at the 8-1 morning line. I just don't see another horse that can.
Is the good news here then, Barry? Okay, so let's talk this through for people, because if you're watching the show, you're going to bet, right? This isn't you're watching it because Louie's good looking. The horse, like,
it depends. I've heard both things before.
If you're an unattractive bettor, you might be watching for my face. That's right. So look, but a horse like Brigante being 8-1 is the best way to maximize value on a horse like this, Barry, to catch it, say, in that late pick 3 that we talked about, where, because it's 8-1, people might be throwing money on horses that are that are shorter on the morning line than this?
It's hard to tell. I mean,
Okay.
you know,
Or is
if
everyone
this,
going to
if
watch the show and ruin it for us?
honestly, if this horse didn't have that turf race
Yeah.
first time out, it would look a lot different. Um, because there really isn't much turf experience in this race, and a lot of it is just
I
pure
mean, this horse
speed.
has only lost to really good horses. I mean, it's
Right,
unbelievable,
and he's
frankly. I
gonna
mean,
be
it's
able
just,
to rate, and he's gonna
yeah,
be able to
I
rate.
agree.
He's getting blinkers. He's got everything in his favor,
Yeah.
and that's why I say it's hard to look at these past performances and think that this horse isn't going to be one of the top two choices.
Yeah.
Um,
Not a
and
hockey
and
player. I'll go Neil does trade.
I just think that horse is the good. Should have the run of the race. And yes, I do think that this horse might be a single in all of those bets.
Okay.
The
Wow.
late
All right.
double, the turf pick 3, the sunset 6, all of it.
11, 8, and 12. You like Basio in here. I agree, by the way. Basio is a nice looking horse in here. Out of the 8 holes, 6-1, Juan Hernandez and Wesley Ward. Why not? One that broke its maiden at Monmouth, has been training at Keeneland. Did get some work done on the turf course out there. Will be in town for this one, Barry.
Yeah, ran a good race first time out.
Yes, for sure.
Wesley Ward knows where to spot his horses. He knows his turf horses, and gets Juan Hernandez for this. You got to think this horse is a little bit live. They'll be fast and up front, but I think there's others here. That's why I put this horse third.
I'll tell you this. This is not a graded stakes. So it's very interesting to me that
Mhm.
they're shipping as far as they are for this race when, frankly, and I mean this without whatever, this isn't hometown, whatever.
Ship
I
and win
mean,
though, right?
I
Is
guess,
that
but
the angle?
this horse could run for 141 at Churchill or at Keeneland or like whatever. Like, I mean, like
He's
that's,
tougher though, slightly.
or what if they think Breeders' Cup with this horse?
Breeders' Cup next year.
No, 2-year-old. No, juvenile turf sprint. Why
Yeah,
not? No,
she'd have to run a hell of a
it's
race,
Wesley Ward
or
with a 2-year-old,
he.
bro. That's a Wesley Ward with a 2-year-old. I'm
No,
just telling you,
I mean
they
he's
might have
done it.
ideas. I'm just telling you, they
He
have
does it.
ideas.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right, because he would do something like
I
that.
mean, it's
I
McLean's
just
music. It's Cantheros. I mean, look, I get it. It's not this. Look, I get it. I really do. I promise. This is all the things. It's 8. The horses, whatever, 8-1, 10-1, 6-1, 6-1 for a reason. I get it. But I don't think you ship for a listed stakes from New Jersey to Kentucky to California unless you have ideas about California.
yeah, I'm with you.
Maybe this horse stays there and runs in Del Mar too. I don't know, but like it just that seems like an odd move, frankly, for this barn to send Basio.
Well, yeah, but they were training at Keeneland the whole time.
I'm just saying you could run at Keeneland. You could have run it at Kentucky Downs. I mean, like there's all kinds
that's
of
what I
things
mean.
that could have happened.
It's a little bizarre. Maybe they're ducking another horse he has.
Oh, Wesley Ward, more than one 2-year-old. How could that be?
Who would have
And then you got the 12 horse here, Thirsty Rebel, a son of Stay Thirsty, Calbred here. Interesting one for Doug O'Neill comes out of that. I'm smoking that you and I are hoping is very, 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 very predictive.
Yeah, hopefully it's a little live. That would be good. But
the old I'm smoking.
If this horse translates to the turf and runs
agree.
literally the exact same race, I think they'll
He
be
can win.
fine. Stay Thirsty should be okay on the turf. Doug O'Neill does well, blinkers on, the whole nine. He's just a good trainer, flat out.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing here. I have 4 horses listed here. 4. I have Brigante on top 2. Look at me. I like Doug O'Neill's horses. 11, 6, 2, and 12 here. I went with Ventry Strand's second-time starter here. Went absolutely ape bleep in a 5-furlong turf sprint. Was 9th by 7.5 lengths with about 3 furlongs to go, maybe 2 furlongs to go. This horse just out of the freaking sky goes ahead and passes everybody. Has to go very, very wide to do it. I was very impressed. I think this is one that, on the turf the first time, stays on the turf here. I love this spot. I think it makes all the sense in the world. And who do I get on a horse that went 57-3 on debut? I get Hector Berrios, give you all of it. I'll take the 6 in the second spot here. I'll go to the 2 then after that with Twilight Delight. By the way, Schwarzenegger did scratch out of this field, and that would have been a game changer for what this is. But Twilight Delight in here for Kazushi Kimura, last seen in the juvenile sprint at Kentucky Downs. The Jessamine, how about this? The Jessamine Barry will have 12 starters. 11 of them will have made their last start at Kentucky Downs. You are muted. 11 out of 12. Absolutely bonkers bleep. The favorite will come out of Saratoga. That's what's going to happen. But 11 starters at Kentucky Downs. I bring that up because this one's out of the juvenile sprint at Kentucky Downs, obviously running for $9 million in that one. What to you? I was there, and I'm just going to share this opinion, and hopefully it translates well. I've been going to Kentucky Downs for years. The course gets incrementally better every year as far as how it looks, how it plays, how much kickback there is, all these things. Barry, this year was not an incremental improvement. It was miles of improvement. And it was greener. It was more lush. Walking on it, it felt safer. It felt softer. It felt better for the horses. And so I think some of that fatigue coming out of Kentucky Downs from the conditions of the course, not of the undulations and, oh my God, we had to kind of turn right to go left. None of that. Just the condition of the course being less hard than usual, being irrigated, being a little softer, more consistent overall, Barry, I think will lead to more of these horses running well after they leave Kentucky Downs. So look for those horses to run well in the adjustment. And now that I've said all that, the horse that came out of Saratoga will easily win there. But 11, 6, 2, and 12. So you and I largely agree here on this one. Barry, those races at Keeneland this weekend, you got one that you're especially looking forward to? No, I can't hear you. Something must happen. You and your microphones, dude. I'm just going to send you, I have one sitting right here. I'm just going to send it to your house and just drop it into your lap so that you have to talk into one of these ridiculous microphones. You have to look like me, which is something no one wants. But do you, any feelings, especially say the 2-year-old races at Keeneland this weekend? Because they're off and running right now, man. That's pretty wild. All right. Well, I can't hear Barry, so I'm just going to go ahead and play music and get this the hell out of here and save this stupid show that never works out because I got to work with Barry Spears. Ridiculous. Unbelievable. Well, this has been SoCal Saturdays, Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network. Barry's just yelling and no one can hear him. What a professional show and outfit this is. I'm Louie Rabaut. He's Barry Spears. We'll be back next week at this time, and we'll tackle one more Santa Anita card yet again. For Barry, I'm Louie. And he's going. We'll see you next week here on the Horse Racing Happy Hour.